I'm back from my break. I save again and then I dive back into game. Oh, it's the first court day already. Cool. Interesting that we don't break the Cyclops first. Oh my, Mr. Loris feels that way about me? Apparently, he isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Or not, and in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Laurice isn't the witness today? No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand. Mr. Bikini, she claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise, correct? It is correct. It wasn't me. Very well then. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed, don't worry. I've made the necessary arrangements. I see. Iris. It is the prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once. Mr. Edgeworth, I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself. Whether or not I am fit to do the task I have been entrusted. Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands. Ah. Yeah, what about Maya, by the way? Maybe we should, like, this is like one day later. Maybe we should, like, you know, worry about them a little bit at least. I don't know. He's alone in court now. Oh, and we have the royal judge back. Nice. I love royal judge. Royal judge, best judge. Fight me on that. Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Honor. And there is no one to be found. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I am not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It would seem this case is already over before it had the chance to begin. I am ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds the defendant... Oh. Oh, we get Von Karma back? Ooh. Why do we have like question marks there? We know this person, right? Oh no, we don't know her. Yeah, we don't know her in this game. This is true. We didn't see her in this game before. The prosecution stands ready. And you are Franziska von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you say? Perchance you won't be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. Legends are a thing of the past. I am a von Karma, that is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purpose of prosecuting this case. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. I'm almost certain that I have seen you somewhere before, or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Miss von Karma, do you have anything to say? There is no such weaklings as this... There is no such weaklings as this man among those of the prosecutor's office. There isn't, but I am sure once before in this courtroom. I told you, there is no such weakling. What is that, a whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. Bailiff, remove that whip at... I have no objection to the whip. You don't? The prosecution can wheel a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. Ooh. But there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. Wow, he's like... Let's, you know, Phoenix, maybe he should, like, you know, I don't want to say this, but, you know, maybe he should stay in this river forever and do a nap by the fishies, you know, like a sweet nap. He earned his rest forever by the fishies down in the river, so, you know, he's cool. This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I'd expected to face Phoenix Wright here today. But looking at you now, maybe this is what I have been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic? Oh yeah, nobody can correct me right now because chat is broken, so you shush. You shush. You shush now in chat. I am the one. Good. You shush now. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. Well, the stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Very well, Miss von Karma. Please give an outline of this case. With as little whipping as possible. The murder victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Doubtnam. Doubtnam is good and easy to say. I guess I like that. Thanks again for the suggestion. Thank you. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed. But you got it right. Yeah, no, it's super easy. It's super easy to say. Thank you. I guess I can see people in chat now again. I don't know. Sometimes maybe. You know, I don't know if it's right, but it feels easy to say, so it's good. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture is the weapon in question, correct? Very well. The court accepts this photo to the crime scene. To the court record. Let's see this. Huh. Brutal. The only question here is, how do you get this sword back into the hand like this, huh? Because I guess the sword would touch the ground. Ah, okay. There is no mistake, this was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to her crime. Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. And so it begins, my first and last trial as a defense attorney. She's not big enough. Lol. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Hold on here. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. Witness, please stand up. Nice and straight. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back pain pledged witness. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. Okay. Hello there. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Little old me, well, I'm the head nun of the Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. Oh, this is like the first time they call the mountain Eagle Mountain. So this is the first time they finally I could access the chat room again. Oh, it's like Twitch done with their shenanigans. I welcome you back. Nice to meet everyone. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. Oh, the courtroom is a garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave this sanctuary at once. You want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Let us hear what you have to say then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? The night of the murder. That night I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte to return to Hakazura Temple. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and return to the temple, sorry. There is no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it. So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple? Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in such pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. It sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There is only one problem with this testimony that I can't see. And you are not about to fall at the first hurdle. Now are you, Mr. Miles Edgeworth? Miss Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Gumshoe isn't the first witness, I guess. Yeah, interesting. I guess I hold everything for now. What is this inner temple? Well, see, conversing with the spirits is what we train people to do, right? We'll be the ones asking you the questions, madam. In order to do that, a place strong in spiritual powers is requested. There is a small temple across Dusky Bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training. And how exactly do you help with this process? It is all quite exciting. It can't be performed without a nun supervising. Like a tutor watching to make sure a spoiled child studies. A tutor with a whip, in your case. If that is the case, then why did you return to Hazakura Temple where the murder took place? Hold it! Violently. That's right. It's no laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and fork during the cold month. Just being alive is like strict training. On the night of the murder, was this fabulous back of yours hurting again? That's right. Raging like a bull in a pig pen, I almost fainted once or twice. I just knew that unless I warmed it up, it was going to finally finish me off. Ooh. Okay. You left Iris to help with that. What do you think? The acolyte's training, of course. It was just past 10 PM, so we were starting to enter into the training exercises proper. Wasn't it your place to remain with the disciple? I don't know. Well, the job is simply to watch over the acolytes so that they don't pass away. Just to confirm this point again, that night, you met Iris in the inner temple, correct? Yes, she's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions. So you returned to the Hazakura Temple in order to take a bath. My back is to blame for anything. It's a do or be done in kind of world after all. How long were you in the bath for, if you don't mind me asking? Hi, what a filthy little rogue you are. I know what's on your mind. I bet your next question is going to be, where exactly did you wash? No? I mean, I could do that. But no. This is why you have to watch the young ones. What are you going to... Ow. Pathetic, Miles Edgeworth. Ow. The lowest of the low. Is there some kind of kick me sign stuck on my defense bench? Anyway, I couldn't afford to be away from my post for too long, you understand, so... The crime took place in the courtyard, correct? When you go from my room to the main hall, you have to take a winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard. That's right, in other words, it was pure coincidence that the witness saw the crime taking place before her eyes. There was no complicated setup in this case. That certainly seems to be true. There is indeed only one problem with this testimony. If I can clearly point out what it is, then I can begin to quantify just how good this witness' memory and observation skills are. Okay, so we heard everything. But I have like... Yeah. So I have this testimony that she never left her room. Let's see. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials. Right. The defense's fate rests on their power of observation and memory after all. Well. Don't worry, I am more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith after all. The head honcho of Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No, she said that? A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back. But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. This is true, but that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have honest eyes. All people lie. That is my belief. Why am I the only one being whipped in here? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie, which means we must call your memory into question. Dear. You're older than me, and yet you want to play the game, do you? Well, that isn't exactly what I... My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter. Then I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick. So I will go for around 1 more hour. I like to, you know, have chat functioning and have Twitch functioning normally. So I will like push for a little bit more. Maybe I get a good like break point, and then we end this for today. I feel like we should not push this too far, because I want your impressions and I want your opinions on you know, critical matter and such. So yeah. Now that you know, and not be disappointed when I like don't push for 2 more hours today. Then please add your comments about a boot Iris to the testimony. And let us return to the cross-examination. Boot. Okay. Are you sure that you're not making a mistake? You young man need to get your estimation of me up from the floor. Huh? Iris always wears the same clothes. The smallest thing out of place would have stood out like a sore thumb to me. You're making a mistake. Thinking I made a mistake? An excellent finish there, witness. Still I have to wonder. Let's see. So I guess we have like more than one problem here, huh? She was dressed exactly as she had been at dinner. But she had this hood at dinner, right? I guess I'm going for the hood next. Yeah. Witness. Let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct? Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I have you know. Wait a minute. Hold it right there. Why do you have that? You know. That's the question of the day now, isn't it, Miss von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night. David is back in chat. Hello. Yeah, he's not in panic. Yeah. I like this. I like his calm and like straightforward persona, I guess. Before the lights out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the Iris she saw should have been missing this very hood. Well. How many boxes did I stack there? It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. He's learning. Sister, this hood. You have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see. A stockpile. Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. Oh, then this is quite strange. If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There is no contradiction here. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seed in any human's heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness, while I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Oh my god, I'm like a serial killer at court. Like what? Oh my god, dude. Contradictory stimulation. After my bath. I finished my bath around 11 and I thought I should return to the inner temple, and as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard I took a look at. Iris was oh, Mystic Elise, and with that sword of all things. Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then I would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court, and me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that. This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? Yeah, good question. Good question. Let's go. Hold it! How far is it from your room to the inner temple? Let me think a moment. About 20 minutes on those stumps of mine. It's about 15 minutes to Dusky Bridge from Hazakura Temple. The inner temple is just beyond the bridge. Still, you never made it back there that night, did you? That's right. I was heading along the walkway towards the main hall. Okay. You say you heard a noise. Thump! Just like that. That could only be the sound of the falling victim. It's very quiet in the temple, you know. You can even hear the snow falling from the branches. Thump! Just like that. But then, couldn't this noise you heard have been snow falling to the ground? I never thought of that. Okay. The next one to laugh gets a whip. Well, whatever the source of the sound, I looked over at the courtyard and... Iris was... okay. This is the second time that the witness has testified to seeing the defendant, but some doubt remains in these claims. Hey, just what does that mean? Just because you're a good-looking young man doesn't give you the right to... The murderer who stabbed the victim with a sword, Sister Bikini, try to recall exactly who it was you saw, as clearly as you can. Well, you're a handsome young man, so I forgive you. See? Oh, now that you mention it, there was something awfully strange about her. Something that has been bugging me all this time. Please, don't keep us in suspense. Her hood. Her hood. That's right, it's coming back to me. Iris, she wasn't wearing her hood. I thought something was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given that hood away to someone, right? Ah. You've dug your own grave, Miles Edgeworth. What do you say, Mr. Edgeworth? Is the testimony important? It's important. This may initially appear to put me in a disadvantage, but I can't see any other leads at the moment. Your Honor, I would like these new statements to be added to the testimony. Ha, Miles Edgeworth. If you want to hang yourself, you need only to ask. I gladly lend you my whip. What? Witness add that statement to your testimony. No problem. Let's see. You're sure about that? Yes, after all, we always wear the same clothes. Ah, I don't mean because we're poor, you understand? It's our style, yes, that's it. There's absolutely no need to explain yourself. Anyway, she looked different from normal, so that really stuck out. Like me holding a whipped puppy instead of my whip? At least then it might bite you and not someone else. Iris didn't have her hood on, I'm sure of it. Very well. Now please tell us about the victim. Huh. The room the victim was staying in overlooked the courtyard, correct? Which means the victim's room was on the second floor. No! Hazakura Temple is a single-story building, but the mountain itself slopes downwards, which elevates the main gate outside of the temple and the guest rooms in the back to about the height of a two-story building. I see. And the victim was staying in one of these elevated rooms, correct? Yes, I should know. I'm the one who carried her things to the room after all. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of a window. What makes you so sure of this? It's just like I told you earlier. I heard a noise from the courtyard, okay? Thump, just like that. You're one smart sister, I'll give you that. The autopsy report stated that the victim's body was covered in bruises, indicating a fall from around 10 feet of height. It appears that the witness was not mistaken then. Yep. I'm more than just a pretty face, especially in winter. I'm a woman of faith after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple. There's only 2 of them working there. What's wrong, Miles Edgeworth? No snappy comeback remark? It doesn't feel like she's lying. This is very powerful testimony too. She claimed to have seen the instant in which the defendant stabbed the victim. There are only 2 things I can believe in right now. My client Iris and my own abilities as a defense attorney. You know the abilities that I certainly have because I was like a, no. I mean, like he knows about like defense for certain, right? So he's not stupid. Let's see my evidence here. We need contradictions. We need contradiction. Why do I have this photo, by the way? I mean, there's the freaking like amethyst ball that is gone for now. Oh, body fell 10 feet after death. Okay. The stabbing I saw must have. But this is the other way around, right? Body fell after death, and this is like the stabbing I saw must have after the push. Let's go. See, I learned how to use this court record thing now. I use this now correctly. Impressive logic. That's what I like to say anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report? The autopsy report. The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. That's right, it says after death right here. The scene the witnesses claims to have seen is contradictory. And if the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Huh, true. Order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that isn't the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree? That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room, and she was then thrown out of her window down into the courtyard below. Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Downham's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a blood stain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious payoff beard. Playoff beard. However, ow! I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this. As I am sure Your Honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. When it produces the most blood, yeah, after you pull the knife out. Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of the blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed, with the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. We have come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions. Oh. Order! I must admit that this is a probable version of events. I'd expect no less from Franziska from Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all suppositions on your part and tell us only the facts, please. Witness, please, remain standing on the crate. Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Sister, please, give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. With the whip? Oh boy. Alright. Huh. Further details. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can't you? And when I awoke, Mystic Amy was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karmas strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska Von Karma, and I am here to teach you just that. Good. Further details. I didn't make a mistake so far, so I guess so far this case is okay clear to me, I guess. When I looked at... Oh, let's press everything again. At the time, wasn't the victim bleeding? Well, I was very shocked to be seeing all this, of course. So I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think I saw any blood, not then. I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound. In any case, let's be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed? No. Think carefully, this is very important. It's Iris we are talking about here. I'm thinking of all I'm worth. Now, when I looked over, the sword was already in Mystic Elise's body. Might not be conclusive, but this testimony supports his theory. The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miles Edgeworth. No. 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 Again. I'm not sure what they're going for, but the autopsy report says cause is the blood loss from the stab wound in the back, and the body fell down after death. So when the sword acts like a plug and there was no much blood found in the room, then she would be alive when she hit the ground, right? So it was not after death, or is this nitpicking? I don't know, like, I feel like this is an important thing. She didn't die from the fall in this scenario, or she was not dead when she fell down here in this scenario, I guess. So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood? That's right. Some of it had splattered onto Iris too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. What? The clothes were blood-flecked as well? That seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press this point further. Oh, I was like, okay, press further. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed, but now you say you saw the victim bleeding. Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw. What did you see? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day. Pulling the sword out? Well, it wasn't exactly pulling, it was more like came out. Witness, you will add this statement to your testimony. Oh, was that important? More important than you can imagine. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. Okay. Smoothly, you say? You're saying you saw the sword smoothly slide out. That's right. The whole thing happened right next to the gold statue of Mystic Amy. Mystic Elise was on the ground and Iris was stooped over her. The sword was buried up to the hilt. When Iris stood up, the sword in her hand just slid out of Mystic Elise's body. It slid out from the gaping wound. It goes without saying that if the sword was removed, well, there would be bleeding. Nothing out of place here. Is that really the case? I can't help but feel that something about this testimony is very out of place. That something which couldn't possibly have happened appears to have happened. Yeah, if you like stick the sword up the butt, like you know, if I have a sword like on my shelf. If I would, and the Shishito sword has like branches on this. If you can like pull it out. If it like is in the body, like full force up to the freaking hilt, you can pull it out like easily. And on top of that, you wouldn't have created a wound. You would have like, this would not be a wound. You would like, you know, like there would be a hole in your body, like a hole, like. And again, you have like muscles and bones, so it's like not easy to pull it out. I know this. For some strange reason, I know this. Did I press this? Was the bleeding caused by the killer removing the sword? No mistake in it, I remember it all clear as day. Don't you think that's a bit odd? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? Why would the killer pull out the sword? What? If all she wanted to do was place the weapon in the hand of the gold statue, then there was no reason to remove it from the body. All that would have accomplished is causing the victim to bleed unnecessarily. Your thoughts, Miss Fonkama? That's... Indeed. It is strange now that you mention it. I'm going to need to find an answer to this mystery too. Anyway, the witness saw something terrible. So what did you do after the witness? So we like going over this point, huh? Now, on to what the killer did next. You saw none of it, correct? Well, I was unconscious. How long were you out for? I don't know. 10, maybe 20 minutes? A young man with a very prickly looking head woke me up. By stepping on me, actually. Huh? I'm not sure I like that method of resuscitation? Well, I wasn't asking for mouth-to-mouth or anything of a sort, but I would have welcomed a more gentle awakening right about then. Let me tell you. I shall have words with the offender personally. What did you see upon awaking? Okay. My Mystic Amy, you are referring to the golden statue, correct? Just stabbing someone with a shishito, a sacred treasure, is terrible enough. But to then make Mystic Amy hold the blade, truly a heinous, despisable crime. It is easy to despise something. Anyone can do it. However, there is something that cannot be done so easily. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's doubly hard for you. It's doubly hard for you. Anyway, what is the problem? Exactly why would the killer set up this gruesome scene? Can anyone explain the reasoning behind that? No, I don't think I can. There isn't always a logical reason behind why someone acts. That's true, so true. In early spring, for example, I often find myself. There isn't always. That phrase might come in handy someday. There are too many unnatural elements in this case. Why was it necessary to use this shishito from the Amy statue as a weapon? Why wasn't the weapon ultimately placed back in the hand of the statue? If I can expose the flaws in this testimony, perhaps then I will begin to find the truth. The truth! Okay, let's save and I do this. This is an easy one, I just sold the short. Yeah. Sister Bikini, you are a relatable witness. At least, I'd like to think so, but there are too many contradictions here. What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar, but you're a handsome young man, so I forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witnesses claims to have seen, the weapon was thrusted up to the hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are completely impossibilities. Yeah. What do you mean? Please explain yourself. To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone with the to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that. Doesn't appear? A meaningless dribble. I too may appear to be weak and frail, but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep. Should I so choose? The objection stands. I wept like a little back there, I must admit. What? That isn't the only issue here. If this sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in the body, it's acts like a plug of sorts. Yeah, but however, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding. Yeah. That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with a shishito. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly and may still sometimes stop the blood loss. No. I'm not finished. There is still one more conclusive contradiction. You still got more? This one is simple. If the sword really was thrusted in all the way to the hilt, why isn't there only blood on the tip of it? Yeah. If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword. Yeah. Bravo, Miles Edgeworth, raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that. But what does it all mean? You have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but having come this far, there can only be one answer. And that is? The weapon used to kill the victim was not the Shishishito. What? A foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a fool-hearted foolish fool. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon? Well, it's because Mystic Amy was holding it. Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shishishito was the murder weapon. This is maybe true. Order! So maybe the Shishishito was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with the sword-like object. No. She doesn't see that, that's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question. Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. That's... Answer the question, Miss Montgomery. No evidence of that kind was found. Okay. Another mystery to throw onto the pile. A try without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking, it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was it was just over there. What exactly are you going to boot here? The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe. I think I might know where the sword was disposed of. What? Well then. I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister. Impossible. What else? What else could this old woman have seen? And with this, I end this today. It's like the ultimate cliffhanger. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know if like Twitch acts up or whatever it is. It's like, I don't know. It's like everything is weird. And I want you to, you know, enjoy this as I do. So and I'm like insecure of the whole situation today. So I will end this here because, you know, I will not like press more. And I will do more tomorrow at the same time. 6 p.m. CET. Thank you so much for being here. See you around.